Hey, hey everybody, good morning. How's everybody doing on this Wednesday? A little bit cooler, but nice. If you don't like it too warm, weather's just right. So I'm gonna give another minute. Let whoever's coming come on in and join us. Let me know you're here. Glad to see you in this place. Glad that you were here on this side. Um, because there's some. I'm telling you, my T-shirt says "angry black woman," and then we cross off the angry, and then it says no, wise, educated, assertive, strong, bold, passionate, and courageous. So I will not be stereotyped. I'm just going to be me. And I'm going to step boldly in this world and confidently in this world, loving myself. And that's what we do. Hope everybody is well. Um, I know I've been talking about some pretty serious issues. Good morning. How's everybody doing? As I said, I hope everyone is well today. We've been talking about some pretty serious life issues because this is a tough time, y'all. It's tough for us. It's tough if you're a younger person. It's tough for little kids. It's tough for everybody. So just wanted everybody to know that if you're going through, there are resources. You don't have to do this alone ever. So today in reading, we are going to talk about something we would study in social studies. But look, when we're studying all of these topics, even math, the most important thing is that you what? Comprehend the information. So in everything we do, we're working on your reading comprehension, making that stronger, making you a good, strong reader so that you can read for information, that you can read for entertainment, and that you are able to discern truth from, the other stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff floating around out there right now. And the reason we talk about it is serious. Good morning, Shirley. How are you? Looking so glad you joined us this morning. But want to make sure that when you're getting information that you can be critical of that information so that the good stuff filters through to you and can be a benefit to you, and the rest you can leave aside. And I mentioned that because there are a lot of rumors um, about the COVID shot. And let me tell you what's worse than the COVID shot: dying from COVID. I know a lot of you may not have had those vaccinations, but it's taken us out, people of color, okay? And if you have asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, you are high risk. Not only that, if you have anyone with those ailments in your circle, you're putting them at risk. So these shots are still available, they're out there. No one has died from the shot. Nobody has died from the shot, but 600,000 people have died from COVID in this country. 600,000, almost a million. That's two Rochesters. Everybody was gone tomorrow. The rest is up to you. It's your choice. So let's go head on and dig in. So I wanted you to first see, share it with you first, right? This poster, and we're talking about the Constitution. Oh, there you go, baby. We're talking about the Constitution. We're talking about the amendments. And really, when we talk about that, we're talking about the guarantee in this country. I don't know why it's doing that little thing. That's cute. But the guarantee in this country, oh, of life, health, education, choice when you are a woman, of childbirthing person, of your future, your body, your rights. This is what we're talking about in essence when we are talking about constitutional rights, protections, as they're also known. So, what and why am I talking about this? Why is Melody even bringing all this stuff up? Because, loves, you are most definitely going to see this on the test. I'm trying to make it bigger, y'all. There we go. I hope I'm not messing with this too much for you. Okay. So the one we're going to discuss today is the Fifth Amendment. I want to show you this resource though, because this is good. I found it online and I've attached it to there. So this was put out by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Minnesota. And it says, Know Your Rights, a guide to the United States Constitution. And so this was the one that said it's important that we know our rights, that we understand them, and that you can appreciate our rights and responsibilities. So you get the Bill of Rights, the amendment, what actually is the essence of the First Amendment, for example, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom to petition, ask for certain things, and freedom to assemble. Second Amendment, right to bear arms, rights of the accused, and other amendments. Then there he goes into some history of the fifth, how the amendments have been used beyond the Bill of Rights in the Reconstruction period, the Civil War amendments, civil rights movement producing certain 14th Amendment, how people were affected. The Japanese were interned after World War One. Immigration and citizenship, due process, voting rights. And so he goes on. This is the greatest resource, y'all. And he's talking in depth about let's go to our Fifth Amendment today. So that's what we're going to focus on. But this is just a really, really good resource, how they broke it down. I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, I thought it was page 17, something like that. There we go. So the Fifth Amendment states that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law. And what this does is forbid states from treating individuals differently based on race, nationality, gender. And then the Supreme Court has imposed the same obligation on the federal government through the Fifth Amendment. So this came after let's see, segregation was popular in the states even after the 14th Amendment, which separate but equal. And so, as you notice, we went all the way from 5 to 14 because we had to reinforce that. So that's basically the Fifth Amendment. Let's talk about how the Fifth Amendment is applied in the law, okay? So the Fifth, again, page 17. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, property without due process of law. So if we look at what that can look like, I'm going to read you just a tad from this. So, no person can be held, this is how it actually says, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime. A capital crime, the capital is the most serious, the most important. And so when we talk about a capital crime, we're talking about what's the first commandment? That became the First Amendment. Thou shalt not kill, or otherwise infamous crime. Unless on a presentment or indictment, it's been presented or you've been indicted by the grand jury, unless you're in the military, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be put twice in jeopardy of life or limb, because what we know is for when you commit some capital offenses, the punishment is death, right? Or life in prison. Okay. So you can't be tried and acquitted and then we don't like this verdict and we're going to try you for that again. You cannot do that. Nor shall you be compelled in a criminal case to be a witness against yourself, You can't be forced to testify in an indictment against yourself, nor shall you be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or nor shall your private property be taken for public use without paying you. So the Fifth Amendment used to apply only to federal courts, and so the 14th Amendment was added to apply to states too. So that's what the Fifth Amendment is talking about. So what does that look like in terms of, say, criminal charges? There is something called the Miranda rights. Okay. And depending on your familiarity with the criminal process of this country, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. And then again, do you understand the rights that I have just read to you? And with these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to me? So why is it called Miranda? And you know what? Shame on me for not looking this up ahead of time, but Miranda rights. Miranda rights case. We'll just go here real quick. Was decided in 1966 by the Supreme Court. Let me pull it up real quick, and I'm so sorry about this. There were 4 different cases, involving interrogations. In each case, the defendant was questioned by police officers, detectives, or a prosecuting attorney in a room in which he was cut off from the outside world, and the defendant was not given a full and effective warning of his rights at the beginning of the interrogation of the process. And so in all of these cases, the defendants pled guilty. And in 3 of them, those signed statements were admitted at trial. But the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. So Miranda was arrested at his home and taken into a police custody where he was identified by a witness. He was then interrogated by 2 police officers for 2 hours, which resulted in a signed and written confession. And at the trial, the oral and written confessions were presented to the jury. Miranda was found guilty of kidnapping and rape, so he wasn't a good dude. And he was sentenced to 20 to 30 years of imprisonment on each count. Again, they said that he was found guilty, right? So then he appealed it. And the Supreme Court of Arizona said that his constitutional rights were not violated. However, the Supreme Court said, no, you're wrong. Listen to this one in New York. Venera versus New York. He was picked up by New York police in connection with the robbery of a dress shop that had happened 3 days prior. He was first taken to the 17th Detective Squad headquarters, and he was then where he orally admitted the robbery and was placed under arrest. He was then taken to the 70th precinct for detention, where they were going to hold him, and he was questioned by the assistant DA in the presence of a hearing reporter who transcribed the questions and answers. And then at trial, the oral confession and transcript were presented to the jury, and he was found guilty and sentenced to 30 to 60 years imprisonment. And this conviction was affirmed without an opinion. They just said, yeah, we're going to say yeah, by the Court of Appeals. So whether statements obtained from an individual who is subjected to custodial police interrogation are admissible against him, and whether such procedures assure that the individual is accorded his privilege to the Fifth Amendment, not to be compelled to indoctrinate himself or to incriminate himself, are necessary. So the court said that there can be no doubt that Fifth Amendment privilege is available outside of the criminal court proceedings, and it serves to protect persons in all settings in which their freedom can be taken away from them. So the prosecution, you can't use any statements unless it demonstrates the use of safeguards, meaning that you question the person after they've been taken into the custody or otherwise just otherwise not free. So the court reversed the Miranda decision, reversed the New York decision, because they said you have to work to make sure that the person will speak freely, and they have to be warned that they have the right not to say anything at all, and they have to be warned that whatever they do say can be used against them, and they can have an attorney, and if they don't have money they can get an attorney. So think about how many forced confessions have possibly put innocent people in prison. Sometimes the system works. So the Fifth Amendment is going to be an important one. No person should be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So what that means, again, you have a right to representation. You have a right not to incriminate yourself, and you have a right to an attorney. So that's all. And that's when we say delineated, that means, does it really do what it's supposed to do? Well, it's designed that way, but does it work in real world? At least we can say some of the time. And what we do as people of color, as we have to make sure this happens, how when you have a jury of your peers, the jury has to be your peers, right? So that's one of the amendments that would be important to know and understand how they work and what they're about, what the Constitution was designed to do. So if you'd like to go further, take a look at the First Amendment, and there's even a good explanation. And um, if tell me what the First Amendment means to you in your life. Last summer, when people were demonstrating over the death of Daniel Prude, some people were arrested just for being out there and demonstrating. So tell me about what the Fifth Amendment means. The First Amendment means in real life. So that's all we have for today. If you're still fuzzy on it, you know where I am, and I'll see you soon. Take care.